In the shadows of a city that bleeds orange and black, change is never subtle. It's brutal, it's messy, and when it comes, it leaves scars. This is Breaking Brière, the show where every trade gets pulled apart, autopsied and graded under the harsh fluorescent light of Philadelphia hockey. And today, we're peeling back the layers on a deal that wasn't just business, it was personal. Kevin Hayes trade. Before Kevin Hayes became a symbol of dysfunction and disappointment in Philly, he was something else entirely. A first-round draft pick, the big-bodied, big-smiling Boston College kid who lit up the NCAA. A free agent who spurned the team that drafted him, Chicago, and instead joined his brother Jim on the New York Rangers. In New York, he was electric, a 45-point rookie campaign. Clutch goals, overtime winners, the kind of kid who made it look easy. And then he took his talents to Winnipeg, briefly, very briefly, after being traded. But what came next was Philly. Chuck Fletcher, desperate for his center, desperate for stability, tossed him a 7-year, $50 million lifeline. It was bold, maybe reckless, but at the time, it made sense. Hayes was reunited with Alain Vigneault. He was entering his prime, and he was supposed to be the guy that brought swagger back to the Wells Fargo Center. And for a while, it worked. In the 2019-2020 season, Hayes lit it up with 23 goals. He was a shorthanded menace, a locker room glue guy, and more importantly, fan favorite. He was mic'd up gold, the kind of personality that lit up a room or a bench with a single smirk. His chemistry with Scott Laughton and Travis Konecny was infectious, and the Flyers surged. The bubble run felt like the start of something. And then, everything changed. Injuries, coaching changes, frustration, the vibes were just off, and the results followed. Hayes had multiple surgeries. He played through pain. He tried to keep smiling, but behind the grin was exhaustion. And then came the final blow. The tragic passing of his brother Jimmy. The emotional toll unimaginable. Hayes tried to push through. He came back, played hurt, but the magic, it never really returned. In 2022, John Tortorella walked in like a man with a can of gasoline and a matchbook. He doesn't do sentimentality. He doesn't care about contracts, and he sure as hell doesn't hand out free minutes to guys who don't backcheck. And Kevin Hayes, well, he didn't fit. Not in John Tortorella's world. The benching started. Then came the healthy scratches, the press conferences, the passive-aggressive comments. Hayes was even named to the All-Star team and still couldn't buy towards his trust. It was like watching a Greek tragedy unfold in real time, and everyone knew how it would end. In June 2023, the Flyers weren't just rebuilding, they were detonating. Danny Brière stepped into the chaos and wasted no time. His first major swing was trading Provorov, and then next, trading Kevin Hayes to the St. Louis Blues. The return? A 6th-round pick in 2024. That's it. Oh, and the Flyers retained 50% of Kevin Hayes' $7.1 million cap hit. That means they're paying $3.57 a year for the next 3 seasons for a guy they traded away. Not exactly a king's ransom, not even close. But Briere wasn't playing for optics. He was playing the long game. Flyers fans had mixed emotions. A 50-point center for a late-round Flyer and a huge cap hit still on the books? It's not really a trade. That's a sacrifice. But let's peel it back a little bit. Hayes wasn't a fit. Not for John Tortorella and not for this Flyers roster. Not for a youth movement, and not in a room that needed accountability more than affability. And most of the league knew that. Briere's leverage, non-existent. He didn't have a choice. He had a deadline. So he took the hit. Publicly, financially, and push the boulder down the hill. Because sometimes you have to lose a trade to win the war. In St. Louis, Hayes became a bottom 6 filler, a passenger on a middling team. Gone were the power play reps, gone was the freedom. He was just another name on the lineup card. Production dipped. Ice time vanished. The fire never returned. The once bright star had dimmed to a flicker. And for Briere, that validated the move. It wasn't trading away the Hayes of 2020. He was moving a shell. a memory, a cap hit in skates. It stung, but it made sense. And with Hayes gone, the Flyers could finally breathe. No more awkward pressers, no more friction, no more headlines about a feud that had long since lost its novelty. And it opened the door for players like Brink, Forster, and Noah Cates. Kids who needed reps and got them. Torch could coach his way, Briere could coach his way, and the team could stop pretending Kevin Hayes was part of the solution. He wasn't. Not anymore. So let's break it down. Cold and unfeeling. Kevin Hayes is out. 6th round pick in. 50% cap retention. By any traditional metric, that's a loss. But rebuilds aren't graded in draft picks. They're graded in direction. This trade was a signal. The Flyers were done holding on, done pretending, done hoping things would magically course correct. This was the start of a purge. So now it's time to score it. Not emotionally, not nostalgically, just honestly. Hayes was a personality, a scorer, a fan favorite. But this version, he was a liability. The return was minimal. The cap hit still lingers, but the message crystal clear. And that clarity, that ruthlessness, that has value. So here's your final Breaking Brière grade for the Kevin Hayes trade. I'm giving this a 6.4 out of 10. It was ugly, but it was necessary. Comment with your score down below. And what comes after the flames die down? Ashes, but also the chance to rebuild. Kevin Hayes' time in Philly will always be remembered with a mix of laughter, sadness, and of course frustration. He was never the problem, but he became symbolic of a team that didn't know who it was. Danny Brière, he knew, and he acted. That's the job. That's the burden. Next week on Breaking Brière, we're covering how the Flyers were able to draft one of their young phenom goalies in Carson Bjarnason, and how it was connected to our first episode in which we covered the Ivan Provorov trade, where Danny Brière seemed to turn chaos into clarity. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, this isn't just a hockey show. It's business. It's personal. It's Breaking Brière. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time on High and Wide.